I was cloned by Clonate in Canada. My model number is 0112568, if anyone wants to see the registration in Clonate.
Now, the clone rapper Kid Buu, do you remember this man? He had the whole internet talking with that whole clone controversy. A lot of people actually ended up believing him, a lot of people didn't believe him, but regardless, I guess he succeeded because we all talked about it. Let's take a trip down memory lane and take a look at the Kid Buu story once again though. So yeah. Let's talk about it. Now, I'm pretty sure anyone who was subscribed to me back then when I made those Kid Buu videos hasn't forgotten this story. I mean, how could you? The Kid Buu story was an entertaining one to say the least, mainly because the whole clone thing was obviously not true, but he still managed to not only convince a lot of people that it was real, but a lot of people were talking about him during this time.
When I was cloned, they wiped a lot of memory, but when I stole the documents before escaping, I read that.
He also took this entire clone thing so far to the point where he did an Instagram live with his supposed clone in order to convince people it was real.
What y'all gotta say now? You see him? We got the same tattoos, same hair, same genetic structure. Look at my clone. Go ahead. What you gotta say now? I mean, I'll wait all day.
Kid Buu initially started making headlines when he made some heavy accusations against Nav. Kid Buu claimed that Nav stole the flow from his song Wanted You with Uzi from him.
You see this shit? 7 months. 7 months, bro. Why this shit? Look at this. Look at this. 2 years, bro.
This entire thing, of course, turned out to be false. Nav did not copy Kid Buu's flow. SoundCloud has a feature where you can replace one track's audio file with another one, so you can switch out an old audio file uploaded 2 years ago with, let's say, a new one that you have right now, and that's most likely what Kid Buu did. This was obviously a clout stunt, and it did end up working because a lot of people talked about it, and Nav himself ended up responding through an Instagram story by saying, "God forbid I ever catch a charge, I'll just say my clone did it." This wasn't the first time Kid Buu accused another artist of stealing his flow. He also did the same thing to Trippie Redd. Kid Buu posted a video on his YouTube channel back in September 2019 claiming that Trippie stole one of his songs.
If you showing any unreleased music to Trippie Redd, be very careful that if that song is hot, that this nigga might just take the shit and upload himself to his album.
He apparently showed Trippie Redd a song of his on his birthday months prior to doing the exposing. Kid Buu wanted Trippie to be on a song. He said that Trippie apparently liked it so much to the point where he told him, "Don't drop it yet, I want to put a verse on it." Trippie then apparently went ghost on him for months until the release of his project, and that's when Kid Buu heard his song on Trippie's album. Trippie Redd, however, told a very different story. He said that the original beat to the song was made in 2018 and Kid Buu really wanted to be on it. Long story short, Trippie Redd decided to kick Kid Buu off the song because, in his own words, he was so damn trash.
My beat was made in 2018, you know what I'm saying? Like, the nigga wanted to be on the song, but I kicked him off the song because he was so damn trash. I DM the address.
Don't even get no clown niggas no attention, bro. Don't get no clown niggas no attention.
Look, I ain't giving them no attention. This is the last time I'ma ever speak on this.
Anyone else who heard the late Juice WRLD's voice in the background? I know I did. Trippie should have definitely listened to Juice, man. Now going back to the clone thing, what was the point of it all? I mean, we could definitely boil it down to clout chasing, but there is another reason, so let's talk about that. An old mugshot of Kid Buu himself surfaced around the time of the whole clone controversy. With this mugshot, some new information was discovered in relation to Kid Buu. Contrary to what we all thought as far as his age, it turned out that Kid Buu was actually a 30-year-old man who had child abuse charges on his records. That's where what Nav said on his Instagram story in response to Kid Buu now makes sense, right? Essentially, we had a situation where Kid Buu's entire past was in the process of being covered up with this whole cloning controversy. The cloning stuff was obviously in the focus when it comes to his name even being brought up. On top of that, this is where that I'm a second generation clone claim comes into play because that wasn't me, that was my clone that did that. Around this time, a woman publicly spoke out about how she apparently dated Kid Buu and that he lied about things like his age and just his past in general. Kid Buu responded to her on an interview with XXL. According to him, it was just a girl he met on Tinder who was, in his own words, clout chasing. As far as the child abuse charges, he also spoke on that by saying the child abuse is in fact labeled child abuse when doing no harm. When you play with Florida, they make things sound even more nastier than what it needs to be. I was like, I'm just gonna plead guilty for my own convenience to move on with my life. Kid Buu is actually telling the truth here. There was no kind of abuse against a child that went on despite him catching these charges. TMZ got a hold of actual documents for this case, and according to those documents, this is what happened. According to legal docs obtained by TMZ, a then 19-year-old Kid Buu was busted in Florida in 2008 after he got into a fight with his girlfriend and baby mama, who was a minor. Their daughter was 2 years old at the time. Cops say the squabble started over the girlfriend wanting to cash a check, which he snatched out of her hands while leaving their apartment. The girlfriend told the cops he later returned and found her in their bedroom, at which point she threatened to call 911. Police say at this point he punched her in the face with a closed fist, all while their then 2-year-old was present. According to legal docs, he then pulled out a gun and told her he'd kill the cops if they came. She fled the home and called the police using a security guard's phone, and Kid Buu was eventually arrested after refusing to cooperate. He denied the allegations and no gun was ever recovered. And that's the story behind Kid Buu's child abuse charge. Although it doesn't make the situation better, no child was ever physically harmed in this case. Kid Buu and the clone controversy though, he took this entire thing so far to the point where he orchestrated that fake IG live with his clone, which kind of worked because a lot of people surprisingly didn't know that that's very easy to fake. And on top of that, we were all talking about it and entertaining it because it was kind of entertaining, I'll give Kid Buu that. However, ultimately his past eventually caught up to him and people found out about it. Covering up his past, it looks like, was the main motivation of this entire clout scheme. I'd say that and just publicity in general. And as far as the publicity part, it ended up working because he went crazy viral. But yeah, the clone rapper Kid Buu. Do you remember this man? I bet you do, because how could you possibly forget him? Initially, a lot of us found out about him through that Nav Flow accusation, but most people recognize him for the clone controversy. Anyway, any thoughts on this entire Kid Buu story? Definitely let me know in the comment section below, and let's have a discussion about this.